Well, as a comedian, I end up doing a lot of podcasts now. So,
yeah, I know, man. I'm like addicted to podcasts.
It's really changed my line of work because now more folks will come out to see you from doing popular podcasts than the equivalent you used to have to go into town and do Taint and Teabag, the morning shock jocks or whatever. So now it's a little bit more. You hit the audience that specifically likes your comedy and stuff. It's pretty good.
It's I've seen you on or heard you, seen you, whatever, on the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm really surprised that you guys didn't get into a Bigfoot conversation on that show.
Well, I think I had never done Joe's show before, and it was kind of funny to me. I think he was, basically, I think he was sniffing me out. I think I think he didn't know what to make of me. But I also wish you told me that it was okay to go to the restroom because it was almost 2 hours, 3 hours, and I had to go pee really bad.
That's pretty funny. So, I'm going to skip all the formalities in this. I don't want to talk about the 80s crazy character stand-up guy who lit the Tonight Show on fire. We'll skip all that stuff and let's get into some meat. While I have you here, our listeners can look you up if they don't know who you are because a lot of them are younger.
A lot of I guess if you were born in the 80s, you wouldn't know who I was. Cause,
I think you're being too modest. I think you're being too modest.
Well, I mean, folks are discovering the movies that I make, but you'd be surprised. It's kind of funny too when I play a comedy club, and there are these kids that aren't familiar with me, and it's okay because it makes me work. I can't rest on my laurels. I have to entertain people who weren't even alive when I was relevant.
Right. And okay, speaking of relevant, just curious, the mainstream media, when they talk to you, are they talking to you as Bobcat the filmmaker yet? Because a lot of what I see, they still go back to that. They still go back to the...
No, very rarely, and it's kind of funny. It's only the kind of press that covers film festivals and things like that are interested in discussing the movies I make and are aware of it. And then the mainstream media, it's really a question of people they're not interested, or they're not interested in doing any homework, so they don't know that I make movies, and that's okay. I mean, my movies aren't made for everybody. They are very small,
to say the least.
But it is sometimes a little frustrating to go. These movies have been at Sundance and stuff. Right. It is weird. But
is it safe to say that you have more accolades as a filmmaker now?
Well, it is weird. I mean, like the other month, actually it was March, Esquire named me Director of the Year, which was really a big shock to me, and I'm sure, I'm sure they were attempting to try to put a spotlight on someone, a much lesser known movie and stuff. But
right.
But that kind of stuff is cool and weird when it happens, and look, I mean, I know it's easy to pigeonhole somebody, and I don't find it that frustrating. Now, I think, if I hadn't been doing other things with my life, I think I probably would be a little frustrated, you know what I mean? Right. I know that Jimmy Walker sees red when you ask him to say dynamite. but
that reference just went over 50% of our audience's head.
Well, but if you ask me about police academy and stuff like that, it doesn't bother me at all. Yeah. Because I know that that's how people are familiar with me, or certain people are. But I even I directed the Kimmel Show for 3 years, and that's something I think people aren't aware of too.
Yeah, I mean that you really helped that show get off the ground, and Dave Chappelle. People never credit you for the work you did on Dave Chappelle.
Well, I didn't do so much work on there, but I did work on there for the first month or so. But you know, that really was Dave and Neil's baby. But it was yeah, it was pretty cool just to be around that, you know, around Dave, because he was so talented and
so
and a
let's
nice guy.
fuck all this stuff. Let's just talk about Hot to Trot.
Let's talk-
Now that I know you're willing to go there, let's just talk about Hot to Trot. No, I'm kidding. Dude, this new movie is getting our little field of monsters and mayhem kind of riled up. Real people are starting to get curious to see it. But before we talk about that, Windy City Heat was one of the movies that really made me go. I mean, Shakes, as an indie film guy, everyone knows about Shakes the Clown, and it's the most. It's probably I've heard you say it's probably the best movie about an alcoholic clown ever made. Or most accurate.
That, yeah.
Something along those lines. Windy City Heat is a movie that really beat the shit out of someone who is pretty delusional. So when I see that, and then I see that you're making a movie about WillOW Creek, and some of my friends say, yeah, he wanted to talk to us. Is there some of that going on? There's a whole lot of crazy.
You know,
yeah,
I got you. Like, where am I coming from?
Yeah.
But you know, I actually, you know, I see myself as although I'm not distancing myself from Windy City Heat, I do think it's a pretty certainly it's a funny movie to watch, very funny. But you know, that wasn't really my baby. I mean, the other movies I make, like Sleeping Dogs Lie or Will's Greatest Dad or even God Bless America,
awesome
that's a little
movies,
bit more in my own tone, where all these people are outcasts, you know, and my take on you know, the whole Bigfoot and Sasquatch community is it's a pretty beat up group of people, you know,
to say the least.
To say the least, I think it really is like the most misunderstood subgenre. You know what I mean? It's like there's Comic-Con, then Al Qaeda, and then Sasquatch, Bigfoot people, as far as people that get picked on. You know, actually, I'm paraphrasing Dan Harmon when I say that, but so for me to come in and make a snarky movie about that would be, one, it'd be too lazy, and the other thing, it would be kind of bullying, you know. And I do see myself as an outsider and stuff. So I was no interest in doing a comedy making fun of the Bigfoot community. If anything, the thing that influenced me the most in this movie is my own interest in Bigfoot from when I was a kid. You know, that's like. To age myself, I'm 50, so I'm the guys that saw In Search Of, and they saw Boggy Creek, and saw the early photos of the Patterson gimlin, and had their minds blown. You know, that was before I made the movie, I spent not this February, but the last February, I put like 1,400 miles on my car, and I just drove all around more or less famous Sasquatch sites in California, just because I never had, you know, and I wanted to get a feel for it. And as I traveled along, you know, and I made it up to WillOW Creek, I just kind of got inspired. I thought it'd be fun to do a movie, but it's a weird hybrid, this movie, of doc and the horror and suspense. Now, the reason that I made that way is because you know, you have to ask yourself, like, if you want to bring attention to something, I'm a storyteller, but I'm not about to make a definitive doc that was going to turn people's minds around about if there really is a Bigfoot or not. Right. But I can make a movie as a storyteller that can make people interested in the subject and not dismiss it, you know. Right. So in order for my movie to work for you, I think I certainly make a case for it when you watch it, because it is, like I said, it is horror and suspense, and if you're not scared out in the woods, which I think I've done a good job of in the movie. These people aren't scared because they think a mountain lion is outside.
Right, right.
And I used, tons of classic kind of things that anybody who pokes a little bit around in the Bigfoot world is aware of, through different sightings and encounters, be it vocalizations or being, things being tossed at them and, all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty true to it, and I didn't go up and make a snarky movie. In fact,
that's awesome. That's great. That's great to hear. Did you spent a lot of time with actual Bigfooters? I know I was introduced to you. Steven Stroyfert gave me your number, and that's how we got in contact. So
and Steve was a big help, and Steve shows up in the movie, and he really helped lays a lot of facts down. So when you making it, like I said, it's a hybrid of doc and suspense, and I just wanted to make a really entertaining movie around something that I love and I'm fascinated with.
Yeah, it seems like there's a huge interest, probably because of the television show and the success that they're having. But there's a really huge spike in interest with Sasquatch these days. Do you think if it's out there, if there is this beast of legend roaming the countryside, and it's really not a beast of legend we're looking for. We're talking about a family of primates. From the research and time that you spent out in the field with these guys, where do you put yourself? Are you at 50-50? You think it's more likely or less likely at this point in your journey into Bigfoot?
Well, here, this is what I believe. I believe there's definitely something, some sort of a biped that people have seen for hundreds and hundreds of years now. Now it's figuring out what is it, so I'm not someone that doesn't believe. I'm more of like, well, what is this? And I'm fascinated by it, but I'm not. I'm willing to say, yeah, I do believe.
That's pretty ballsy to put yourself. A lot of people are showing interest, and I talk to them, but they don't put their balls on the line and just come out and say, yeah, I think it's a point. Because I'm in that same boat. I think it's just right now it's figuring out what it is. Just based on experience.
And I don't. Sometimes I have to deflect it because I know I'm about to get ridiculed and stuff. But
welcome to the family.
But I also, in the movie God Bless America, you get a kind of an idea of how I view the world, and I didn't kind of shirk away from that,
And you even dropped a Sasquatch joke in that movie too, however brief it was.
Because with Robin,
yeah.
but So I mean, I felt like the best tools I have is I do think I'm starting to become an okay storyteller. So I thought it's
again, you're being modest.
But I mean, I thought it'd be better to make like a suspenseful movie that worked for people than for me to do a riveting doc where I try to go out and find the answers, which I don't. I just really wanted to make a non-snarky movie about a subject that people are kind of snarky about.
That's cool. So the big question, when I posted that we were about to have a conversation, the question that's coming back most by people in my Facebook group is, have you had a pretty convincing Bigfoot experience then while you were out in the field?
No, I haven't, and I actually think, I haven't, and but that, that certainly doesn't make it any that I don't believe in other people's,
exactly. And 200 years of legends and stories and documented experience from our Native American culture as well. So
and also it's just really funny about why, I mean, I haven't, and but that, that's certainly doesn't make it any that I don't believe in other people's, and
exactly.
I why would this same thing repetitively show up in history? You know, that's fascinating to me too. It's like, okay, so it doesn't exist. Why are people having the same experience over and over again? What is that even? You know, so
Yeah.
so you know, right now there's a frustrating thing where when you start talking about Bigfoot or Patterson Gimlin or Bigfoot in the Northwest, you know, people immediately say, well, you know, the guy in the suit, you know, he came forward,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Have
and
you
it's
talked to
like,
Judge Reinhold about this by chance?
no,
Because
no,
apparently he is making an anti-Bigfoot movie. He's doing Bigfoot is one of the biggest hoaxes, jokes on American history type of movie.
oh wow.
Yeah, so he's making the answer back to your movie apparently with
Well, but I mean, mine doesn't just go. You
Yeah.
know, I didn't make a movie where I
Yeah.
just proved all these people, but you know, I did do this. I did start poking around to find out, you know, what was going on with, so I actually reached out to John Landis to find out, because, you know, that was one of the many rumors about the Patterson
Right.
Gimlin footage, that he was in the suit, and he was like, I am most certainly not the man in the suit.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't think anybody's actually, really grilled too many of the insiders from the inside like you are.
Yeah, so I'm working on an article right now so I'm reaching out to John Chambers' family to get real quotes and to figure out why these rumors got started, and stuff. And I said to John, I think it probably had to do with him being in the gorilla suit in the movie Schlock or something like that. But yeah, so he says he's not, and then I'm gonna meet with him. We're gonna talk more about it to see if we can get to the bottom of why this. And I even actually poked around, and I've got a lead. I'm trying to find out. My whole take is, well, I'm not. What can I do, and who can I reach out to? And so I'm trying to follow the Hollywood side of this thing. And so I've been trailing down Jerry Merritt's friends and family too to figure out more about his connection to Patterson and that first movie that Patterson was filming and stuff. I'd like to. People talk about that, but they never talk about. I'd love to find out what exactly that movie was.
Right. So I'm curious.
Nobody
then.
even.
All this work that you're doing on Patterson Gimlin, is this going to be like bonus footage on the DVD possibly, or a second feature?
This is stuff that I'll probably put into an article. I honestly feel that it's like, Spielberg certainly made more than one movie about extraterrestrials. I certainly could see myself doing another movie in this world, because this is just a suspense movie with some actual facts in it. But
yeah,
I would be interested in doing another movie that's the other side of it. I am interested in the all this history and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty deep and it's pretty fascinating. I got a question for you. It seems like most Bigfooters I know are Star Wars fans or ex-musicians / rock guitar players, or one or the other. Do you what kind of connections and similarities do you see on a social or psychological level between every other Bigfoot enthusiast out there? What is our common thread to you?
Oh, that's a good question. I think possibly it's the possibilities. Their minds are open to the possibilities of what if, instead of how many times have hard facts been proven wrong over the centuries. So it's people who who are open to possibilities.
With a field or a topic, I should say, subject matter so so packed with ridicule, how difficult is it then to get objective, make a good case and get objective listeners? How hard do you find that?
Well, again, that's why I thought I would scare the pants off of them.
Yeah.
Seriously, that was why I thought, well, I don't, again, it doesn't matter how many interviews or how much you lay out facts or you debate back and forth. I actually thought this was the best tool I could use to kind of, in a weird way, not make it come up, and not,
I hear what you're saying. So how is it being received then when you're screening this? Have you begun the screening process and talked to audience members?
I've just started showing to folks, and it's been really fun because the folks that it works for does seem to scare them and all that, and there are some laughs in it and stuff. But one of the things that I thought was really awesome was I showed it to some friends, and they were, the debate that they got going in immediately about Sasquatch was awesome, because they were talking about it existing and not existing, but not in again, not in a snarky way. It was kind of, it made me feel good. And that's like all the movies I make. Like, even if people don't like them, when I go out in the lobby and I hear people arguing about them, that makes me feel good,
Yeah.
So, because they're arguing about the ideas that were presented in front of them, and not arguing about if it was successful or if it worked as a movie. So,
in your last couple of movies, you've been very successful at that. I mean, especially with like God Bless America. I mean, there was a lot of, questionable social topics. I mean, it dealt with a lot of very real things. I found myself watching it going, man, I do that. Oh God, I'm that asshole. Am I that asshole?
Yeah. Well, I throw myself in there too. Yeah, there's certainly a couple times Frank would shoot me in that movie. So, yeah. I mean, and that was kind of part of it, because I had to make sure the wheels falls off on Frank's ideology, or it would have been I made a version of Mein Kampf, he had, I had to show that he's guilty of a lot of things that he hates.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Well, it seems like that you are that kind of is your thing thematically with your movies, that there is that. Let's ask the questions. Let's get into people's heads. Your movies are small, but that they go deep and they seem to be well received. So that makes me want to ask, now you're in the horror genre, kind of docudrama horror. Is there any desire to make a bigger Hollywood movie at some point, like a big action or monster movie? Or
well, no, there's a couple of stories that I've written that need more money to tell. So I probably would have to. No, I still would probably have to just find outside financing and do them that way. But,
right.
But no, I mean, I'm making movies because I kind of have to, because I have to tell stories. That's what I find super rewarding right now. But I'm not making them to make it, or to even make a living off of them. I do stand-up so I can afford to keep making my tiny movies, on my own terms. It's something that just made me laugh. I was thinking when we were talking was, Bryce Johnson and Alexi Gilmore, who play the two people in the movie. At one point, they just finally said, "Oh, we're playing you and Sarah," and it's like, yeah, because Bryce's character believes, and Sarah's got a million, and she's not. She's skeptical, and that's the dynamic of my own home life.
I think that is the next documentary in this field that we need to see: the wives of Bigfooters, man.
Well, it's funny. Yeah, that's really funny. But you know what? I will say that she's also the one that will surprise me and buy me like a Jerry Crew cast or something like that. So,
that's cool.
yeah, so she's not so cynical.
Well, we're easy. Guys like us, the Indiana Jones Quest for Adventure type guys, we like our toys. So I think, it's like it's not a hard thing to make us happy. You just pay a little bit of attention to what we like, a Bigfoot t-shirt.
Yeah, I know. It was like, when I got out to Laos camp, I truly don't remember myself being happier. Everybody was cold, and I was running around in my shorts, and I'm jumping in the creek there, and to get so close to Bluff Creek, and then and then we drove down, and then we started hiking in, and it was like the 9-year-old version of me.
Yeah.
I was, definitely my eyes are welling up, and I definitely want to take a more serious camping trip into there, hike into there, but I don't want to do it when I'm doing the movie. I actually want to do it for my own.
So did you make it to the actual film site? Did Steven or Ranger Leiterman make it?
Yeah, we made it. We made it really close. And the real reason, I know it sounds crazy, but the real reason I didn't hike the extra, basically 10 minutes it would have been, is I kind of didn't want any of that to end up in the movie, because I didn't want the site itself to be in the movie, which gives you an idea.
Yeah.
It gives you a kind of an idea of how serious I take the site and stuff.
Well, that's really refreshing to hear that you've been into it from the In Search Of days. You're a Patterson Gimlin fan, and you're even doing your own research post movie, that this doesn't stop for you. So that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. And I really didn't want to be clomping around the site, making a movie that was, that part of it was being fictitious.
Have you talked to any other filmmakers about Bigfoot? Like, I know Duardo Sanchez has his movie coming out. Like I said,
I haven't. I'm aware of these movies, but I haven't spoken with any of the other guys. But I just really think it's just some zeitgeist, that's in a lot of people's minds right now. And and this was a movie that was quickly and easily and fun to do. I will say this: I don't think I've had more fun making a movie.
Cool.
It was so many laughs and all the characters. Like Tommy Amarone shows up in it, and he sings one of his songs, and it was just really a blast. So it was I don't know, it's certainly not the end of my interest. It's like I said, I'm working on this article where I pursue and kind of dispel a lot of the Hollywood connections.
Well, I'm really excited to see this movie. Do you have any idea when WillOW Creek, is there a distribution deal in place? Is it going to be theatrical?
There's not a distribution, but it starts playing film festivals. And that's how all the last 4 movies have done. I take them to film festivals and then we sell them. So I have a feeling we'll get a distributor, because there's a lot of interest, so I'm sure it will come out. But it plays in the Boston Independent Film Festival on April 24th. But I'm having a screening in the Arcadia theater on. I have to double check. Let me look. Okay. I want to make sure I give you the right date. It's May 31st. And I'm calling this the Believer screening. So it's anybody who has an interest in Sasquatch and wants to see the movie, and some of the folks that show up in it, like hopefully Steven will come out and I wanted to show it up there because I don't know, I just want to have that'll be the West Coast premiere of it.
Cool. I can't wait. I'm gonna do my best to make it up there. Hopefully I can score a ticket. Say, hey, I talked to director.
Oh yeah, well let me or Amy know, so we'll hook you up.
Sure. So one other question I want to get to before, I know you got a busy. Amy said your schedule is pretty packed, so I'm going to try and get you out of here in one piece. What do you think of all the hoaxing that's going on these days?
Well, hoaxing will always happen because it's easy and I just think I don't think all hoaxers are cynical. I think they're actually in some weird ways are fans of it.
Yeah.
I think the history of hoaxing. I mean, I feel like the early hoaxing that was going on at the logging camps while they were trying to make that road. I think some of that hoaxing was I think the crews were frightened by the real Bigfoot tracks and activity, and so I think they actually did some faking so they could say, "Hey, there's no real Bigfoot."
Right.
I really think that's my. I'm sure other people share that theory, but that's the theory I hold to on some of the earlier hoaxing. But the hoaxing that's going on now, it's pretty easy with a camera and stuff. It's frustrating when you're on YouTube because when you sit around and you're trying to find anything interesting, you have to sit through a lot of jackass kids.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Look, I think if you're a true Bigfoot enthusiast, you have to have a sense of humor because
Yes.
you're gonna get ridiculed. You're gonna have to sit through a ton of hoaxing and stuff. But at the bottom of it is the gold in the bottom of the pan is these friends that you meet as you travel along, and these fascinating people and stuff. So
it is a fascinating field with some fascinating people. So the last big question in the field, before I let you go, I'm going to hold you captive for this one big question: are you a kill or no kill guy on the debate?
Certainly no kill. I mean, it's the idea of killing to prove that it exists. Who you prove. The kind of people that would need that kind of proof. I don't really want them on my side.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I kind of agree. Although I do think we need a body at some point. Part of me wants the mystery to continue for quite a while. But,
I don't. I would be happy to find a body,
right.
but the idea of killing it would be.
Yeah.
I think it shares way too much with our own DNA that killing it would be criminal.
I can't tell you how excited I am to talk to you about this movie. I'm looking forward to it. I know you're going to be doing the rounds. Hopefully I'll see you on some more podcasts across town.
I'm hoping people watch the movie. I hope it entertains them. I hope it scares them. And I hope when they get done, they go, well, I was scared, so I probably am more of a believer than I thought I was.
Yeah, nice. I like the idea of Bigfoot being scary. I like monsters in my backyard. And I'm looking forward to that kind of filmmaking. Letters from the Big Man was cute, but I want my monster to be scary.
Yeah, well, I don't want them to be. Hopefully you'll like the movie then.
Yeah.
All right, man.
I'm sure.
Cool.
I'm sure I will. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Bobcat. The movie is WillOW Creek. It's coming to film festivals soon. We're going to post some dates in the YouTube links down below. Again, thank you, Bobcat, for your time, sir.
All right. Thank you so much.